So there's a collection of ancient Chinese stories that teach you how you should honor your parents, but they're just filled with insane plots. So without further ado, let's go through a few of them. During the period of the Three Kingdoms, there was a guy called Meng Zhong. He had a sick mother who insisted on drinking soup made of fresh bamboo shoots. But bamboo shoots don't grow in winter, so it would be physically impossible to make this soup. Nevertheless, he still went to the bamboo grove to search for this crucial ingredient. Of course, nothing was going to be found in this cold-ass environment, so out of despair, he cried. But he cried so hard that his tears melted the frozen soil, and the bamboo shoots shot out of the cracked ground beneath him. And this was how he made the soup. And after drinking the soup, his mother's sickness was magically cured. If there was really such a soup, it's gonna be worth millions. So I guess the message of this story is that the devotion to honoring parents moves heaven and earth. And that Meng's mother was a dick for insisting on drinking bamboo soup even though she knew it was winter. Wu Meng grew up in a super poor household. His father was basically broke, so they ain't got the money to buy mosquito nets. So during summer nights, swarms of mosquitoes were gonna bite him. To protect his father, he came up with the ultimate plan of self-sacrifice. Every night, he would take off all his clothes to show off his meat so that the mosquitoes would only bite him instead of his father. By the time his father found out what he was doing, it was already too late. The mosquitoes had sucked off all his blood and he died. Just kidding, he was perfectly fine, and later someone gave them a mosquito net for free to prevent him from becoming a buffet for mosquitoes again. Now I'm not sure if this really works in real life, but please don't try this if there are mosquitoes invading your home. Just buy an insect killer. Guo Zhu lived with his wife, his 3-year-old son, and his elderly mother. And same in the last story, they were really poor, so they didn't even have enough food to eat. But despite the dire situation, his mother would still sacrifice her own tiny portion of food and feed it to her grandson. And when he saw his mother going hungry day after day, a diabolical thought crossed his mind. He went to his wife and proposed to bury his son to save his mother. His reasoning was that they could have another son in the future, but they couldn't have another mother anymore. And this was how he convinced his wife to carry out this murder plan. One night, he and his wife took his young son into the mountains. He took a shovel and began digging a deep pit in the ground, which was how he uncovered a large jar filled with golden coins. On the surface, there was an inscription which wrote, "No ordinary people nor government officials shall seize the jar of gold," which basically meant, please don't become a child murderer, just take the gold and live a wealthy life. And this was how the family lived happily ever after. But no joke, this is the most messed up story I've seen from this collection, and it really shouldn't be a prime example to teach you how you should honor your parents. Yu Qianlou had a father who was critically ill, so he found a doctor for help. Well, doctor would be an overstatement because he had no idea what was wrong with his father. Instead, he claimed the only test to accurately determine a patient's prognosis was to taste his feces. If the taste was bitter, it meant the patient's digestion process was healthy and he would be able to recover. If the taste was sweet, then the patient was pretty much over. And then without second thought as to whether this doctor was making shit up about tasting someone's shit, he volunteered to perform this test. But of course, his father, like any normal person, thought that this was insane and told him not to do so. So he went to his father's toilet in secret and did the unspeakable. And to his horror, the taste was sweet. Coincidentally, his father passed away a few days later. And yes, I used the word coincidentally because I refuse to believe there's any scientific connection between the taste of feces and when you're gonna die. Yang Xiang, a 14-year-old girl, lived with her father in a rural village filled with dangerous animals. One day, when she and her father went to the woods to harvest crops, a tiger came out of nowhere and started dragging him to the forest. And without any weapons, she just charged at the tiger with her bare hands. She jumped onto his back and wrapped her arms around his neck to choke the tiger. And this actually worked. What the hell? The tiger was forced to drop her father because it couldn't breathe and it escaped back to the forest. And I think the girl should really consider joining MMA if this happened in the modern age. Thanks for watching. This is Mr. Machine.